Well, you've just witnessed the West Ham walkout of the Etihad with our heads held high, or where are you at still?
Um, I think, as we were saying during the game, we had a couple of chances in the first half to really sort of get it at them, and we just didn't put our chances away. And City are a patient team. City are a team that will find ways to beat teams. Even they're a good team. They're a good team, and it's just disappointing. I think they're. I'm always disappointed when West Ham lose. Um, but I'm not downhearted. After the Wolves game last week, that was awful. We walked away and we deserved to have lost.
But do you think then? Do
Now,
you think we've kind of you kind of made up a little bit for that from that performance? Because I think a lot of people in the chat don't think that way.
I think we did. I think we did. And I'm looking at the chat and I'm trying to get my head around it. So let's do that. Moyes got it all wrong. Moyes picked a team that he thought was going to compete with City. Did he get it all wrong? Because of Masuaku, I did question why Bowen wasn't playing. When we're more direct, would we have been better? The irony is, in the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, we had two chances to be 2-0 up. But Father Snowman agrees. He thinks there's a wrong lineup. No excuses, though. City is City. Did we get it wrong? I did question why Masuaku started and not Bowen. I can see the logic in it though, and we had Nigel on before the game started, and he said let's not forget Bowen played most of the game against Vienna. He's quite likely to be a starter against Brighton. So I kind of get why Moyes is trying to sort of mix the squad up a bit. We weren't that bad, but then the irony is in their first goal, Masuaku wasn't in the position that he should have been in to sort of cut down, shut down that cross. But he weren't the only one. We were all ball watching for that goal.
Yeah. Of course, though, if you were watching the game, you would have saw, and you can see from some of the images that we've got coming up here, the weather did play a big part in what was happening, in particular in the first half, because it was extremely heavy snow still, wasn't it? And yeah, okay, they had a yellow ball, and I know the players, and I know it's all about what the players can see, but as fans, and even you can see when you go online, you can see the fans that were actually at the game, they were struggling to see the ball at all in the first half.
Well, we were struggling to give commentary on it because we couldn't see who had the ball at one point near the end of the first half. And it did look like it was quite possible. Maybe they're looking at the weather and they're going, look, it's going to clear up. We just need a bit longer to get that pitch ready for the second half. And it did take them 20, 25 minutes for the groundsman to clear the snow off. So all credit to them for keeping the game going.
Absolutely. But when it does come to the starting lineup, you mentioned it there. Masuaku came in for Bowen. What was Moyes' thinking behind this?
Well, Nigel and I were discussing it beforehand, and whenever you see Masuaku on the team sheet, you automatically think it's 5 at the back. But that is not what happened. The irony is, it's only when we went a goal down that Masuaku then dropped to 5 at the back. So quite possibly, he either wasn't listening to David Moyes before the game started to be told what position to play in, or Moyes decided to change it after we went a goal down, because Masuaku played really far up front. And it looked more like a 4-2. I don't know what it was. 4-2. It looked like a 4-2-3-1. But there were times when Ben Rama was almost up front with Antonio. So until their first goal went in, Masuaku didn't look to be playing a wing back. He looked to be playing more attack-minded midfielder. So it confused me. I questioned whether Bowen had a knock. Nigel and I were saying, Nigel said, well, as I said a minute ago, don't forget Bowen played most of the game against Vienna. He's being rested. He'll certainly start against Brighton. I think, and then Masuaku had a good game on Thursday. Let's not deny it. It doesn't matter about the opposition not being good. Masuaku had a decent game, and I could see the logic in why he was picked. Would I have done it? No. But Moyes sees the players in a different way to we do. And did Moyes get it wrong?
I mean,
I don't know.
I
I
don't know.
don't know.
Did he? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about a very well organised, well drilled Manchester City side that have got strength and depth throughout any position they've got in their team. They play ticky tacky football. And I'm not saying that we couldn't have turned up and given them a better game. You could, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, and you could say that about every single game that you play. But at the end of the day, you are talking about a team that have just come off. I don't know if people watched it. I mentioned it on the Matchday Live. The amount of the gameplay that they played against PSG. We're talking about a side here that are extremely full of confidence. You know, Sterling didn't get a lot of game time last season, and bang, he's back in the equation now, and he's causing problems again for teams. So Pep Guardiola's obviously got something in his arsenal in terms of, look what he's done with John Stones. Looks what he does when players and people think that these players are gone and out. And then they bring in other players, but no wonder they bring in these other players still when they've got so much money and a checkbook, an open blank checkbook.
Yeah, they got an open
Cancelo,
checkbook. Yeah,
great
yeah,
player, fantastic
yeah.
player for Man City. And that puts us on to the Man City starting lineup. What did you think of that?
I thought we could get them. I actually really did. I looked at that, and again, Nigel and I were talking about. Nigel said they've got five attacking players on there and 4 defenders, which is more or less when you look at Gundogan, Bernardo, Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus. They're all attack-minded players, and I thought, you know what, there's quite a good chance that we could get at them. And I think had we not wasted some of our early chances, like the chance Antonio created for Ben Rama was one of them. Had we not messed those up, we could have been a goal or two up, before they got their goal. And I thought they were, but they are a good team. That the minute they get hold of the ball, they all work in unison. You could see the way they play, almost like I think you said in the second half about how we got the ball and there's automatic straight away 3 players around our
Yeah,
player. They play like a herd. The minute they get the ball or the minute they lose the ball, as a team they close you down, and the minute they have the ball as a team, they're all together playing. And we are, they play the little 1-2 passes, little intricate passes. They're good at that. So having 5 players on the attack-minded players on the pitch, to us, would be like good grief. But to
yeah,
them, it's like you've got 5 excellent, technically skilled players who are
yeah,
going to play ticky-tacky football. You
yeah.
know,
Let's get into the game, though. Still, literally 6 minutes into it, we find ourselves with an opportunity, and it's that man Ben Rama. I think Antonio does a lot of work down the left flank, and he looks like he's about to shoot for goal, but he plays a really good
great
pass
ball in.
onto the feet of Ben Rama, who gets it caught in his heels. Would you
He
say?
got it. He got it. It went over. It looked as if he wanted to control it before he hit it. For me, it should have been like you're 6 yards out, fucking whack it. Just give it a go. Just don't think about it. Do it instinctively. Just go for it. Don't matter which foot, go for it. It looked as if he tried to control it, and by the time he did, he caught. He got tripped him, not tripped himself up, but he got the ball tangled in his feet,
Yeah.
and the opportunity went. I think if he just didn't think about it and just went for it, I think he would have scored.
What do you
You
think,
know,
though, of Ben Rama as of late? Do you think? I think people are starting to worry that West Ham fans are losing faith in him again. But there was a couple of times in today's game that, and I think the whole team were quite sloppy in our passing, like you
yeah,
mentioned a
we
lot
were.
in
Yeah,
the thing. But Ben Rama definitely was there in terms of sloppiness. Like he
he was
was
sloppy.
he
Yeah,
was getting himself. He does a lot of hard work, and then his final production, the end product
yeah.
wasn't there. It was either giving it away to the opposition team, or he was shooting and it was going wild.
I don't know
And
what's gone on with him. He looks like he's slightly off the ball again at the moment, which is a shame because I think he started the season off so well, and he's gone slightly off the ball. And it's quite interesting from Vinay. Vinay reckons Lanzini's earned his place in the starting lineup, and I think we will see some changes on
I,
Wednesday.
I'm
And
not going to lie to you. I mean, I sorry to interfere there, but on that comment, Vinay, I genuinely think that could be a shout. Now, I don't think that if Lanzini comes in to play for Ben Rama, that means Ben Rama's career is done at West Ham. I don't mean it like that, or I don't think anyone really means it like that. It's the fact that Lanzini, as of late, has been playing well and has been kicking back into
he's been
gear.
playing better.
But I genuinely think that position is potentially a shared position and shared throughout a 90-minute game, not throughout a season. I think you either start with Benrahma or you either start with Lanzini, and depending on how the games go, switch them out. And I think it really works for both of them. And if they have to live with that, they have to live with that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that. We've got 9 games now in December. We start our 9-game run in December, and then 10 games if you include the game against Palace on 1st of January. I think we're going to see a lot of switching around. I think you're absolutely right, and I think there's going to be doubling up across the whole pitch. Yeah. I think Moyes is going to adopt the system that he's used for European games to get us through 9 games. I think you're going to see players like Lanzini getting more game time and so on and so forth. And I think you're absolutely spot on. Where Moyes will look at each game now and go, Benrahma starts in that one, Bowen starts in that one, or Lanzini starts in this one, etc., etc. And he is going to mix it around. And I think you're right. I think it will be shared. So even if Lanzini starts on Wednesday, at some point throughout the game, you're quite likely to see Benrahma coming on, if not for him, for someone else. So yeah, it will be switched.
I mean, you're talking about 10 minutes into the game, and there was chances for both teams, but I'm not going to be bothered talking about Man City's chances. 11 minutes in, Masuaku has 2 bites at a cross. The first one, bounces back to Masuaku, and then he places a really nice ball onto the far post for Antonio, who just can't do enough with his head to get his head onto it. But, we're putting pressure on. The weather, you could say the weather, is it playing on West Ham's side at this moment? Because Antonio was causing them problems in the first 15 minutes. What did you think of Antonio at the start, in the middle?
He started off well, he petered out. And, that addresses, what Steve, I've never said we don't need new players. I just think we're going to get different players to what everyone's hoping for. So when it comes to Antonio, if we get Lingard in, I think that'll be our lot and that will be our alternative. And Antonio just kind of like, he started off well. He looked fresh. He looked better for the rest. But as the game wore on, he kind of petered out again. And, and I think maybe with Antonio, you do need an alternative. But our alternative, what we want, is not necessarily the alternative that all the fans want. If Lingard comes in, that's our alternative. And I'm not for a minute saying Lingard will play in Antonio's place. What I'm saying is Moyes will have a bigger pool of attacking midfielders to compensate for giving Antonio a respite here and there. He just petered out of the game. He started off well, but and people were saying throughout the game, both of their central defenders were on yellow cards. We should have been getting that ball up to Antonio and pressuring them to make another mistake. But he wasn't getting the service, and he sort of petered out of the game. Unfortunately,
City then go on. They hit the post. Gundogan swings a corner in. Laporte heads it, glances off the post and the bar. Then they score a goal that's disallowed due to an offside. The snow starts piling down onto the park. City then start to get a hold of the ball, hold of the game, and Gundogan makes it 1-0 to City in the 33rd minute. At that point, I mean, West Ham knew, don't give up when we're 1-0 down.
And we didn't. But it was a really, really, really sloppy goal to give away for all reasons. It was sloppy because, as we said, Moyes told Masuaku where he should have been to stop that ball coming in. I think Russ said it during the game. Dawson was on the goal line and he was in no man's land. He didn't pick anybody up. Johnson was on the wrong side of Gundogan. A number of errors, if you want to call them errors, led to that goal. And it was a sloppy goal to give away, even though Man City are a really good team. It was a sloppy goal to give away.
Yeah, absolutely. We go in at halftime 1-0 down, and at this point you're looking at the pitch still and you're thinking, oh my God, I don't even know if they can play the game. I think I've got an image here for everyone to see. But fair play to the ground staff. I think Russ said during the stream we had about 20, but I think I saw about 40 or 50 guys out in that park, clearing that park out. And I think it was about a 20-25 minute halftime break, was it?
25 minutes at least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
To
I
get
wonder
the
what permission they got to do that. You
I
know,
think there must be some rule in place that states that if you can delay by 10 minutes to get the game playable, it's easier to do that than to cancel and replay. That
yeah,
there must be something like that. I think there's got to be some form of common sense about it, to be honest, because it would have been a disaster to cancel the game. As much as, you know, right now you look at the loss and you think, oh well, cancel it and bring on another game. West Ham don't really need another game. It's not ideal
no,
for the amount of games we've got
no,
to
agreed.
play
I
coming
want to
up.
pick up this point because I think Vinay's hit the nail on the head here. Too many stray passes on the counter, and we saw that in the first half, especially, and a little bit in the second. Moyes didn't get it wrong. It was closer than it looked. I think it was closer than it. Had we, I think Vinay's hit the nail on the head. Had our passing been a lot crisper, we would have been. We could have got something out of this. You know.
I think you're right still, because I think when we got to the final third, we were getting to the final third, and you know, when you're watching the stream and things that click in your mind, you're like, you hear someone shouting, and you're like, he's made a run down the left, he's made it down the right, or a ball gets played through the middle. And if say Masuaku or Creswell or Johnson or whoever it was down the right hand side for Niles, they just weren't at the game today in terms of their passing. I would love to see the stats for passes completed today, because I bet you they're not as good as what they normally are for the West
No,
Ham
I
team,
bet they're not.
because
Yeah.
we did give the ball away a lot, but we never. I wouldn't say we gave the ball away in dangerous areas for us. We gave it away in positions of attack where we could have progressed forward and
Could have
potentially got a
made
goal.
something of it. Yeah,
But
yeah,
then,
I
the
agree.
difference is you
Mhm.
are playing a Man City side who can play well and getting the ball off of any team from any position in that park, and they can you know we said it in the game, they have a patient build up play, but equally they can just attack you on the counter very quickly, get the ball from A to B, and the next thing you know, you've attacked, and 5 seconds later the ball's in your net. That's the
Yeah.
sort of team we're playing here, not just your typical kind of Premier League side. But the second half came, and I think we have said that West Ham we kind of upped your game a bit. We were, I think, initially in the first 10 or 15 minutes, we were all saying, like, get a hold of the ball, West Ham. Man City have got a hold of the ball. All the stats kept firing up on the screen saying Man City in the last 10 minutes have had 70% possession, 80% possession, 90% possession. But then we did get a hold of the ball. We started progressing forward to City. 59th minute came on, and Lanzini came on for Benrahma. And then Creswell found himself getting injury. He saved West Ham from conceding a goal by literally putting his body on the line and colliding with the post. And Soufal came on and went into the left back position. What did you think of those two substitutions at that point still?
Well, it was enforced. I think we knew Benrahma was going to come off because he looked like he was limping. Kind of felt like he got back into it, but I think we expected him to go off. And then Creswell. I mean, you know, that was quite a bad crash onto his on his back. You know, you knew that he couldn't carry on.
No.
Funny because we kind of people were saying that Soufal should have started the game, and then when he came on, they said he should have been playing on the right side. But Soufal did give us a little bit more steel. Nothing against Creswell. I think Creswell's played really well, but that was enforced, and I think you know, and with all the substitutions actually, it gave us a little bit more of a. It helped us to go forward more, a bit more solid, you know, and it's a concern when, you know, and then maybe people are right, you know, people are saying the wrong setup, you know, and maybe if players like Bowen started the game, etc., maybe Soufal, etc., maybe we would have kind of gone at them a bit more without worrying about them. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, you know, Zach said, you know, we didn't give Liverpool the same respect and we won that game. So those substitutions actually made us more solid,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I want to talk about one of those players in particular, which is Lanzini. You know, myself and Matt, we done the preview last night, and we were talking about if there was going to be a change, we genuinely thought it would have been potentially Lanzini for Benrahma. Not disrespect, like I've said, to Benrahma in any way whatsoever. What did you think of Lanzini when he came on? Of course, he got the goal to make it 2-1, and it was a fucking unbelievable goal from Lanzini. If you get a chance
Yeah,
to look back at
he's
that,
back. He's getting back to what we remember him to be like. You know, I think we've said it before. You know, when Lanzini had a great season, I think the first season when he was with us alongside Pyatt, he loves playing alongside players like that who get the best out of him. And Lanzini is the sort of player we've got good players there now, and we're not just relying on just Pyatt as we did before. He can play. He can mix it with the likes of Fornals, with the likes of Bowen, etc., etc., with the likes of Declan, and he'll relish that, and it will make him a better player. And I think he's showing glimpses of what he was like before his injury. And great. I think that bodes well for us, because we've always worried about our strength in depth, and to have players like Lanzini coming on and performing like he did today was credit to him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Before
It's
he,
good.
but
It's at the right time, isn't it? As well,
yeah,
players, in that squad beginning to show what they're really capable of is coming at the right time for us.
Before Lanzini did get that goal, of course, Fernandinho came on for Man City and scored a goal to make it 2-0 to City, which is disappointing because I feel like it wasn't. It is a clever Man City goal as such, but Fernandinho just found himself in a bit of space, reasonably quite a bit of distance away from goal, and he just placed the ball into the back of the net, really, didn't he? It was like one of those, we just literally turned our heads, put our heads down for a split second, and bang, Man City came up and got that. And the unfortunate thing
It
is
was
that West Ham in
gut-wrenching.
the last, because the last 10 minutes we were playing well, and we
Yeah,
got a goal I think we deserved. And I'm
yeah,
not saying we deserve to get a draw, but we, because you're close, you're there or thereabouts, we're down 1-0, and you're thinking 10 minutes to go, oh, we've got a chance here. There's something that
yeah.
could happen. And Lanzini got that goal to make it
It
2-1,
was
and you're
it
thinking to
was
yourself,
gut-wrenching for that to go in, and then for Lanzini to have scored the goal he scored just makes that even worse,
yeah,
because we kind of and I actually don't think they deserve to get another goal, City. I don't, I think they
no,
played well. I think they played the game at their pace, but it was gut-wrenching to allow that second goal to go in, especially what happened a few minutes later.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
got the stats up, so you're right. So possession, 68.5% possession to Man City. They had 19 shots, of which 9 were on target. We had 5, of which 3 were on target. Um, they had 90.3% pass success rate. 90% pass success rate. Ours was a poor 79%.
yeah.
Our passing was going a bit wayward. Um, yeah, but it was like, when you see what we did at the end of that game, because we started taking the game to them, we were a bit more direct. And for Fernandinho, we even mocked him, didn't we? Poor man's Declan. Um, and then he does that. He must have heard us. He must have heard us. And it was just gut wrenching for that to go in. I think they are the better team, but to lose that second goal was disappointing. Yeah.
Now, listen, before the game kicked off, you heard a lot of people saying that this was the free hit. This was a free hit to West Ham because no matter what the scoreline was going to be, unless it was going to be an absolute thumping, West Ham were going to end the weekend sitting in fourth place. Now, that's fine, and it's nice to think like we can afford that. Don't think Moyes went into this game thinking like that at all. I think he's gone into this game thinking if we get something out of it, then brilliant. That's what we need to do. What do you think the mindset is now? Because that's 2 games on the bounce we've lost in the Premier League this season, first time this season.
I'm really sort of worried about. I didn't see what the comments were last week against the Wolves team at the Wolves defeat, because I was there. So you can tell me what people were saying in the chat. I'm quite surprised that a lot of people are saying. A lot of people seem to be agreeing with each other, saying that Moyes got it wrong. Moyes' team selection was wrong. We gave him too much respect, etc., etc. Is that just because Masuaku played and Bowen didn't start? I don't know. But what was the reaction like against Wolves last week? Was it bad?
I think people were just pissed off. Like, still, you know what West Ham fans are like, and that's not me sitting here judging everyone in there. I felt that loss, like you probably felt the loss. You were devastated and gutted, but you could afford to look at where West Ham have been and have come. It was a bad day at the office, and it just coincidentally came at the same time that we were about to play one of the best team, if not the best team in Europe right now.
Yeah.
on the back of that, and on their home ground, on their home turf, in not the greatest of weather. Now, you always expect a lot of fans to turn around and think it's the end of the world, and this could be on the back of a bad run. But I still totally trust in the full system and the full thing that what Moyes is doing, and I think to myself, we've got a really busy December now. I mean, I've got the fixtures. I'm going to bring them up for everyone so they can see them. I know we've done this several times, but there is the fixtures for everyone to see. We now go to at home against Brighton on Wednesday, so there's an opportunity now for West Ham to bounce back still. That's the opportunity right there. And then there's no God-given right that we turn up to that game and win that game. However, and the thing I want to say is Brighton are a tough team, so there's no God-given right in that game either.
Well. They're playing well.
They've got a good manager. They've got a good squad. They've got a nice unity about them as well.
And I think someone said if we win that game, we go third.
Well, here we go. I'll bring the table up for everyone to see as well. Let's see if I can get rid of that. And
no, we don't go third. Who said that we go third? We're 5 points behind.
We're 5 points behind Liverpool.
No, we don't go third.
but if we can get a victory over Brighton, then it brings that, it kind of not cements the top four. It just opens up that little gap that we had before. So we had a gap, and now that's been closed, and now it's time to try and progress that gap as much as we possibly can. But we've got big games coming up still. Brighton's huge.
We've got big games, and Brighton's a huge game. They're all huge games, and there's no, as people say, there aren't no easy games in the Premier League. Look, if we played badly second week in a row, I'd be really, really concerned. If we absolutely 100% played badly against Wolves, and we deserved to get thumped more than 1-0. And if we put in a bad performance today, I would say, now I'm really worried. But we didn't play badly. We played all right. And as you said, against one of the best teams in Europe. Did Moyes get it wrong? Look, I'm no Masuaku fan, but I can understand the logic as to why he played him. And the irony, and someone said it, WHU said it, I wasn't expecting to win, blah, blah, blah. But Bowen looked out of sorts. So we're all crying out for Moyes made a mistake by not being more direct. And yet Bowen didn't really look like he was at it when he came on. Maybe he's not a very good player. He's not a good. He starts well, but he's not a good sub. yeah. But had we played awful today, I would have gone, you know what? Now I'm dreading whether we're going to hold on to that fourth place, etc. But we played all right. We had our spells. We had moments in this game. We started off well. We had a couple of chances to go 1, maybe even 2-0 ahead in this game. And then when we were 1-0 down, we started to take the game more directly to them. And, we were starting to worry them a little bit more, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not kidding. When they scored their second goal, I think it slightly flattened them. I said, "Oh God, when we don't look like we deserve to be losing by 2-0 or 3-0 or anything like that." So, I think I think Vinay said it earlier that it was closer than we thought because of our sloppy passing. It kind of let us down a little bit, and I can't even put that and I can't even blame Masuaku for that. I can't even blame Masuaku because a lot of the team were doing sloppy passes throughout the game, certainly throughout the first half. So did Moyes get it wrong?
There's a question for the chat. I'm going to go into the comments and see what people are saying here. Anthos is saying, think it's time Lanzini starts again. We've discussed that. So, you've got the fan base that's split. I think, and I can see Lanzini playing against Brighton, but equally you could turn around and go, that could be a game that might suit Benrahma's style. So, I don't know. Moyes is a creature of habits, but 59 minutes into this game, I don't know if it was a knock that really brought Benrahma off the game today, but I felt like Lanzini showed more promise in today's game over Benrahma, so that could be interesting.
I'm getting worried at how fans are beginning to think. Mark, great respect to you, mate, but he reckons we're not going to get anything against Brighton, and Moyes hasn't got a plan B. I get concerned about comments like that. Because I just don't think we're in that. But if we'd played shit today, I probably would have agreed with that. But we didn't.
See, the thing is, though, still, I don't even know if we'd have played shit today. Would I have still felt like that? Because we have we're talking about we've lost 2 games in a row in the middle of, you know, a very good Europa League campaign. We're sitting fourth in the league. We have to be mindful of who we are as well at the same time. Yes, we are massive. Yes, we say that. We do that every single week. But we have to be mindful of where we're at in terms of money and how much we spend and what we're doing. And, you know, we've turned up against Liverpool. And, you know, if you'd have said to West Ham fans, you get 3 points from the Liverpool Man City game, I think many fans would have taken that off your hands. But then you add Wolves into the equation, you get disappointed.
Yeah.
But let's not take it away from Wolves still.
Wolves,
Wolves are a good football team.
Wolves
Wolves
sussed us
have
out,
got the
and they
best
played really
start
well.
of the Premier League
Yeah,
in
but
their whole
Wolves,
lifetime.
but at Wolves we played crap. I mean, if
Yeah,
there's
we
a game
did.
that we
We
played
did.
crap in, we played really, really badly against them. And we kind of deserved that. But as people kind of said, had we gotten something out of off Wolves and losing today, I don't think people would be, you know, worried
Yeah,
as much.
yeah,
But people have gone, uh-oh, we've lost 2 games in a row. The wheels are coming off. The wheels are not coming off. The wheels are not coming off. You know, I think we've got to put this in perspective. You know, I can be doom and gloom, but even I'm seeing that we didn't play bad today. We didn't play great, but we didn't play bad. Our passing let us down, you know. But other than that, you know, this wasn't as if like the way we played against when we played against Wolves, we were terrible. You know,
yeah.
no denying it, we were terrible. But it wasn't a terrible performance today.
I think
There we
Adam
go.
sums it up here.
Yeah,
Bad decisions
yeah.
or poor final balls. Just get back to basics, and we should go on a good run. Andrew says just need to be better on a ball retention. We get away with against sides like Rapid, but against City and Chelsea, they will punish you
Yeah,
every
and
time.
th- and that's a really good point from Andrew because, like, you know, I think there were a couple of moments where, because of giving the ball away quite cheaply, teams like Man City will benefit from it. You know, and I think if we do the same against Chelsea, they'll punish us as well. We just got to get our passing right. We've got to stop being a bit sloppy in our passing. But other than that,
Yep.
I can't. You know, it it wasn't the worst performance. I'm more worried about our performance a week ago than I was about our performance today, to be really honest.
I seen this that 97% possession first half is not good enough. But when I came onto the stream, I was saying that, you know, the weather. I know both teams have to play like that, but it was ridiculous. Like, it really was ridiculous in the first half, and that's probably going to play into the hands of Man City. Why? Because they play in conditions like that and have done for years more than what West Ham have, because they get a lot more snow in that neck of the woods. Like, Burnley gets a lot more snow than anywhere else does, and the game was called off today. But it's a fact; it's true. They live in they live nowhere near the sea. They live, not in many built-up areas, and that's what happens in those areas. So I'm not trying to use an excuse here. I'm just trying to say that I think the weather actually played into the hands of Man City in the first half in
Well, the
particular.
irony is, before the game started, we said that this weather is probably going to be against them because of the
Well,
players are not accustomed to it.
but you're right. No, I think it would have been against them, and my mindset would have been the fact that maybe West Ham have to go back to the old school football, not the ball over the top,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
City
yeah.
might not be able to play the ball in that weather. But we have to remember that City have travelled to Russia, to Ukraine, and played in Champions League football in this weather consistently for the last 10 years. They've
Hmm.
played in it in the winter where we've not used to it. I'm not putting the blame. It sounds like I'm putting the blame on the weather, but I'm maybe making a justification as why they held the ball so much in the
Yeah,
first half. You
yeah.
just saying thought Masuaka had a very good first half. Second half, the whole team's performance fell away until the last 10 minutes when we went for it.
I'm not sure he had a great first half. I think you know, he was part to blame for their first goal, but then, as I've already said, so was Johnson for being on the wrong side of Gundogan. So was Dawson for being in no man's land. So yeah, Richard Lanzini ought to start against Wolves and today too. Don't necessarily agree with that. I think Lanzini. There's a comment here about Lanzini, which I kind of agree with. D.A. Crossman, Lanzini, no, great goal, but he's too slow. Benny's always dangerous, just doesn't always deliver. You know, so people have, you know, favour one player over the other. I
But
think
I do
you
think
said
it. Yeah,
yourself.
it comes. I do think there's a place for these two players to play in the team, depending on the game they play. Oh, it's just coming into this.
Hello,
So
Freddie.
you okay? I think it depends on the team you're playing, and if one's not doing so well, you can bring on another one and afford that player
Yeah.
for that
And
that
Benai's
occasion.
agreed with you. Benny and Lanzini can share that position,
Yeah,
and in some cases can play both. Lanzini is an excellent instinctive. That's the difference. I think, when I looked at the Ben Rama chance, where he tried to control it instead of just going whack it, that would have put us a goal ahead in 10 minutes, first 8-10 minutes or something like that.
yeah.
You know,
Daniela's saying, look, no one gave us a chance in the game, and everyone out there are hoping we drop away. We stayed with them 2-1, not a bad result when we have 2, 5, 6 goal score lines, and it's true. It's true. We have progressively, nullified that issue, which is turning up to these teams and them smashing us 5-6-7-0. Still, because there was a time where I think I read the stat last night on the preview. I think it's 25 goals in a small amount of games that we've conceded against Man City, which is ridiculous. Yuda Raja is saying Antonio and Suchek were very poor today.
I think Souček wasn't in the game today. Antonio faded out. But here's another comment that's linked to that. Sarif says, again, we gave City too much respect. Bowen should have started. But the irony is, I'm a big Bowen fan, but when he came on, he didn't look that great. Drop Antonio, who contributed nothing for the last couple of games. Antonio started well. He faded out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. That game was a 1-0 game. We played okay, but we move on to Brighton. And I think that's probably the way that we should look at it. Moyes will go in, I think, still at the end of this game going, lads, let's move on from this game. But if we have to look at the game as a whole, you perform better than what you did at Wolves. So we've made progression. Now what you need to do is go and back up that performance and go and get the victory over Brighton. And he won't accept anything but victory. I think he would go, because I think if he went 3 games on the trot, still, it's not the end of the world as a West Ham fan. It's not the end of the world in terms of the league. But for David Moyes, he will absolutely not want that. And that's why you may see some changes that we've been calling for a reasonable amount of time. Now, one player I thought actually played really well was Fabianski. I thought he actually kept us in the game on several occasions as well. Ederson made a couple of good saves, but I definitely think Fabianski did have a good save. I mean, if there is a position to change, if you think about defensively, do you think Dawson's done enough to stay in the team for Brighton?
Dawson had a decent game today in comparison to, well, I still think he was part to blame for their first goal. You know what? I think, as I said earlier at the beginning, I think Moyes is going to start mixing the team around. He's going to start giving players a rest. And I think it's quite possible that you might see Diop and Areola start on Wednesday against Brighton. It's quite possible that
midweek game.
Midweek game, and in order to have Fabianski fresh for the Chelsea game, Dawson fresh for the Chelsea game. I think it's quite possible that you will start seeing them. Not too many changes. Maybe, today he made one change from last week's game against Wolves. He brought Masuaku in for Bowen. And I think you might start seeing that a bit more often. You might see maybe 1, maybe 2, at most 3 changes, in order to give players a rest, in order to get them ready for the next game. There's an argument that you could say that Bowen wasn't used today because Bowen might be played on Wednesday in order to give Antonio a rest for the Chelsea game. So I'm beginning to think that this is maybe Moyes' thinking now. I know Moyes says, eat one game at a time, but there's no way he can't be thinking about the next game that's coming up and the next game that's coming up. And you might start seeing a chopping and changing. We did play badly. No, I think our passing was bad. But I think overall, we're playing against a good team.
See, the thing is, I think I know where Steve's trying to get with this, but I don't think we played badly, because I think if West Ham played badly today, that scoreline would have been more
3-4-0.
Yeah, I do think that. I genuinely do think that. But I think that we nullified a lot of their threats. Yes, they hit the post. I'm aware of that. Yes, they had 2 goals disallowed. I'm very aware of that. But the 2 goals disallowed were definitely disallowed goals. So it doesn't matter what people say. I don't think it was an awful performance. But the question I put to you in the chat is, are you saying to me that's a level par performance to what we played like at Wolves? Because I think that was
terrible
better.
at Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Mimi's got a good point. What's wrong with you West Ham fans? When you win, Moyes is the best. When you lose, Moyes is the only one to blame. Good point. You know, good point.
There you go. Look,
Sorry.
it's the goal because you're talking rubbish today.
Oh, you go then, mate. Go.
Frano was saying we had 3 clear chances, lack of experience. We got goals. Yuda Raja, we played our natural formation against Liverpool and we haven't had an excellent game. We showed too much respect to Man City. Possibly. There could be something in that. There could be something in that because you wonder to yourself, maybe if Bowen had started, would he have caused more problems for them down that wing and maybe put the ball in the box for Antonio? I don't know. We'll never really know.
I've got some points from Sahel here. The weather was not helping. He's numbered them so we don't forget them. City are showing another level. Fair play. West Ham have come so far. Totally agree. I'm up to number 4, mate. So I don't know how many more you've got. More work is needed. That's all.
There you go. Love it. Love it. GP's saying Stell's talking sense there. You're just jealous. Stell is a Greek god. Johnson is still learning. He'll only get better, I think.
I think Johnson made one mistake for me during the game, which was resulted in their first disallowed goal, where it was a really, really sloppy pass, where it just hit the chest, I think, of the Man City player, and the fact that it sort of rebounded off the Man City player and it went into the path of Mahrez, who scored their first goal and then was given offside. That, for me, seemed to be the only real mistake he made. I don't know though.
I think this is a great comment, and it's true. We are excellent 90% of the pitch, but we're so put in around opposition's 18-yard box.
Yeah, we were.
If we can, yes, we're getting goals throughout the team, but if you think about the opportunities that we do miss, and if we can take 1 or 2 of them every couple of games, that can shape the rest of our season in a positive manner. So I don't doubt for a second. I mean, if I was Moyes right now, he's worked on his defence and it seems to be doing the trick. But he probably wants to be working on finishing and making sure, yes, okay, but they can always improve. But if they can finish the chances we find ourselves in, like you said, still the final third passing and the finishing, that could really change and progress West Ham moving forward.
And here, that goes on from that. And let's not forget, their second goal came from a really bad giveaway from Antonio. So yeah.
Victor saying always the way lose a couple of games, some fans can't take it. It's true. Richard Stevens says
I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed that we lost 2 games in a row, but
the majority of fans on social media do panic though.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Lanzini goal was a consolation, but on balance, we've lost both our last 2 games by the same margin and away from home. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You're back. He's back. Dea's back.
That I agree with. Put that back because that one I agree with. Our touch let us down. Absolutely. And it took a while for us to start. It was in the second half where we started getting in amongst the 50-50s and winning them. Whereas I think earlier in the game we weren't. But our touching and and some of our I think our passing was, when you say about playing badly, I think some of our passing let us down. Absolutely. Drop Antonio, Hammerhead, and then you'll have an absolute, outcry from the fans. Oh my God, Moyes really doesn't know what he's doing. Because I've said a couple of times throughout the season, I think Antonio should come off, and then he's gone and scored a goal. But he's played a few games where he hasn't been good. And can you imagine Moyes?
He doesn't listen. You don't listen. Do you know what? Dea's going to review this show now.
I know
just
he
say,
is. That's
Stell's
why he's
talking
on.
Bollocks, and Anton's blaming the snow.
Yeah, that's why he's on.
Like I said, the snow played into their heads as man for man. They have better touch and technique into their hands. Souček does not offer nothing. I don't agree. I don't think he had the greatest games today, but I don't know who did have a fantastic game. Like an over-the-top performance for West Ham today. It's a tough one. He's saying play Crowell with Declan. Hornswoggle, sorry, but their players are not used to snow. They're mostly from Hong Kong. No, you're not getting what I'm trying. I'll reiterate what I won't reiterate. Actually, I'm digging a hole. I won't. I've just said it.
It's because you said that they played in Ukraine and places like that. And,
yeah. Antonio has been very poor.
Yeah,
Still,
I agree.
You looked
Yeah.
annoyed when Antonio stole that ball off Sufal. I think
Well,
it
that
was
was
when he
just
was running.
so
But he
annoying.
did.
They
Yeah,
ran into each other. They ran it, and we did it twice. And I think I said it about. I kind of joked when we had a corner near the end of the second half, where I said, "Oh, this will be Dawson in the top corner," and then I said, "No, Zuma will push him out of the way, and he'll get it." And they actually did run into each other. So twice in the game, our players sort of ran into each other. Once in the box, and what was like Sufal had the ball.
yeah,
Antonio ran into his bloody path.
yeah. I know what
It's
you mean.
really, really that was
Yeah,
frustrating.
yeah.
Frustrating.
Here we go again. Look, Still, you can't smash a ball that's played behind you.
Can't smash what ball that's played
I don't
behind.
have a clue what he's going on about, Dale. What are you going on about, mate? I think
What
you've had a
ball are you
couple of
talking
them.
about?
He's had a couple of them.
Smash a ball that's played behind you. I don't know which ball was that.
I love Antonio, but he needs another striker to come on and fight for his position. He needs that motivation to keep him chomping. No one's position should be a give. And it's true. However, I do think that Antonio has, throughout his whole West Ham career, gone through stages like this. They're never really long stages. It's just that we rely heavily on his workmanship around the team. Like, so if he doesn't get goals, he's running the flanks and he's drawing the players out. And in theory, he was doing that today because Man City are so clever on the ball that they were starting to put 2 and 3 men on any player that was within their half, opposing half. If Antonio was driving forward, bang, 2 or 3 players was on him. Fornals,
Yeah.
2 or 3 players. Benrahma, 2 or 3 players, and that's just the way the game went. 100%.
Here's a good
Oh,
comment.
sorry.
Before you go on to that one, Lanzini's an impact player. He started. If he'd started, he would not have been on the pitch to score, as he would have run out of steam. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yep.
What were you going to put up? Was it Luke?
No,
I would like to see players rotated when they play poorly, but not sure our second 11 can step up. Benny needs a kick up the arse. He needs to keep improving.
Oh, sorry. I just done that.
Sorry, go on.
No, I don't know. I just done it by accident. Adam Cook saying better than Wolves, but still wasteful. Second half was very poor. Long dark tunnel bone is not getting the service.
I think we played better in the second half. I think we were poor in the first half.
Yeah. Dabs is saying Johnson made so dreadful touches of the ball. Guys, Moyes played the wrong formation. So many comments still. We could be. I need to go, mate. I do need to go because I've got the misses in there. I'll let you finish it off.
I'll finish off. I'll finish off. I'll all right. See you later. Let's just finish off with a few more comments before we leave you for the evening. Hammerhead, Neil from Down Under. Moyes got the starting 11 wrong. If he hadn't, it may not have been so bad. I don't. I'm not the biggest Masuaku fan, but I don't know. Did he get it that wrong? I don't know. It was more our passing. It was more our passing that let us down than anything else. Luke, the snow played in their hands. As for man in the match, as man for man, they have better touch and technique. Played Kral with Declan. It's been interesting what's going on. What's going on with Kral? Don't know why he's not being picked. Neil, bullshit Hammerhead, up yourself, play nicely. Hornswasler, sorry, but their players are not used to snow. They're mostly from hot country. We've done that one. Richard, conditions can never be an excuse because both teams have to play on it. Socek is a box-to-box player. Not really a great passer, just needs to improve that part of his game. Dabs, still, done that one. Hammerhead, Benny has only been poor because Moyes is restricting him. We won't be able to push along. I disagree with that, Hammerhead. I think Benrahma has been given more license this season. If you look at the way he was playing earlier in the game today, he was almost up front with Antonio. So he wasn't restricted at all. Trini Lanzini, we've done that one. Let's scroll down. English Yardie. Every match in the Premier League is a big game. We must get a result against, I think you mean against Brighton. We must understand every club sees a match against us as being winnable. That's the new West Ham. Andrew, I love Antonio, but he needs another striker to come in to fight for his position. He needs that motivation to keep him chomping. No one's position should be a gimme. I agree with that. Totally agree with that. Luke, I would like to see players rotated when they play poorly, but not sure our second 11 can step up. But I think Moyes is going to try and use them wisely. I think you're going to see changes in every game between now, and until we get through this 9-game run. Dabs rather beat City at home next time than beat them away in the freezing snow. I'd rather beat them both games. Trini, no team in the Premier League, even Chelsea, would go toe to toe with City. They're a good team. Hornswosler, they know we are no mugs anymore, which is a step in the right direction. Teams that play us. Udaraja, guys, please don't blame the whether we were poor the whole game. I don't think we were poor the whole game, to be honest with you. I think we had moments where we started taking it to them. We weren't at the level that we've been playing at, but I don't think we play. If we played like we did against Wolves, I would have agreed that we were poor. Let's scroll down. Ashley, I reckon Perkins should be on the bench for the Brighton game. That's a good shout, and you never know what might happen. Hammerhead, need to start solidifying that Zuma Diop relationship as soon as we can. I'm with you on that one. I think I'd like to see, although I think Dawson had a better game today than he did against Wolves last week, I would like to see Diop step in now. Richard, you're right, Stel. A run needs to last an entire season. We're still work in progress. We absolutely are. DA, no need to panic, but 4 defeats in 13 ain't that good. 4 defeats in 13, certainly if you're aspiring for top 4, no, but for us, the old West Ham were like losing every other week. Hammerhead, we'll get them at home, lads. They've got their payback from the cup now. All to play for as of now. We are massive. That's the spirit, mate. That's better. Johnny Rick, Sufal didn't like right on the left. Don't want that again. Hope Cressy has enough and some Raljeks. Let's scroll down. Doraja, Fabianski was good, but his distribution has been utter nonsense. Yeah, but good ball stopping. Eric, Bowen was probably tired from Thursday, which is why Moyes didn't start. And that's what we said at the beginning of the game. I think that's what we thought, that because he played on Thursday, that's why he got a rest. And I expect to see him play on Wednesday, maybe up front. Longdard, Johnson sits a lot deeper than Sufal. We need that attack on the right. Richard, we always have been we've always been a low possession percentage team, and we have to expect to be punished by teams like City with this style of play. Vegeta, how are you? Hi, All Hammers. Match was so hard today. Man City is fit at the moment. Victor, we can be talking about showing the likes of Man City too much respect, but we have to remember there are 2 teams on a pitch that ain't going to let us play the game we want to play. That's why they had so much possession. English Yard, Estelle and Anton, do you know what I'm waiting for? Diop to step up his way, more athletic than Dawson. Have you noticed the goals we have given away? They're from us having possession, then other teams scoring. It's a good point, English Yardy. And I want to see Dawson's. I want to see Diop starting, to be honest with you. Kaiser missed Oggy. Johnson lost it a few times. Good point. Andrew, our decision making at crucial points in games is so poor. Sometimes Benrahma, Antonio, and Souček, the worst culprits at present. Tony Edward, respect to Moyes, Hammers. 1 or 2 signings in the summer make big difference as City fans. Relieved Lingard went back to Man United. It's a good point, and thank you for joining in the chat. And well done for today. Epic should have started Bowen and Vlasic as they used to playing in bad weather. Well, again, Epic, Bowen came on, and I'm his biggest fan, but he didn't really have a very good game when he did come on. Wacko Gov, not an excuse as both teams had to play in this weather, but the yellow ball was awful. It felt like a spot the ball contest. Dabs, my next show will be Monday night, mate. Putting the script together after this show. Schizo, some very sloppy play today, but Deckers was magnificent. Yeah, I think we were a bit sloppy. Daniela, do you think Benny trying to do too much? Yeah, sometimes he does. Sometimes he maybe overthinks things. Steve, need reinforcements up top. You've got to agree. Mate, I've never disagreed. I think this is where you don't understand me. I've never disagreed with you. I just don't think we're going to get a striker. I think we'll get Lingard, and that'll be our lot. Andrew, will Moyes give Souček a rest, as I think he definitely needs one. Let's see what Kral is made of. I'm surprised that Kral didn't start in the game on Thursday. Trini, Benny has obvious ability, but does he have the aggression and confidence to hurt teams consistently? Perhaps not. Perhaps not. Peter, Moyes got tactics wrong today, and City were there for the taking without 3 of their best players. I don't know, because like I said, we could have gone a goal up. We could have gone 2 goals up in this game early on. Dabs, to be honest, we were playing all right. Then the snow kicked in and suddenly we became awful. And you would have thought that that would have affected them more than us. Vegeta, Betty is not on this match today. Pity in the first half when Antonio passed to Benny. It was almost goal. Yeah, Benny should have scored that goal. Schizo, we're not the old West Ham. We are aspiring for top four. I totally agree. Peter, can we see a few under 23s getting some game time in December? I think that one or two might start being on the bench in order to give a few of the senior players a bit of respite. Peter again. Benny is a luxury player. Great when everything's going well, but not a fighter. And let's finish off with the last few comments. Oh, my cat just fell off the table. Don't know what went on there. Steve Bone and Lanzini to come in against Brighton for Arthur and Benrahma. I think you'd probably be right there. Eric, we needed to have beaten Wolves last week so we could afford the loss today. Brighton and Chelsea next. Is there another loss? Is there another loss there? On a good note, only lost by the odd goal to league champions. Do you know what? I'm going to be brave enough and say that we will put it right against Brighton. And because we're at home against Brighton and against Chelsea, I think we'll get a point against Chelsea as well. So all is not lost. Vegeta, Benny must get back more strongly and more aggressive. Victor, we lost today. Let's move on to the next one. It's not the end of the world. Exactly. Morel, with the fixtures coming thick and fast, we will need to rotate players with the likes of Lanzini, Vlasic and Kroll. Onwards and upwards. Absolutely. Vegeta, your best one-man show. Thank you. Frano, looking forward to Wednesday to see, are we ready for top four? This is about mental strength. Absolutely agree. And good afternoon. And I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, Peach. Right, that's it, people. Thank you all for watching. Much appreciated. It's been a long day. We've done at least 3 hours with a watch along, another hour just now doing the review. Join us tomorrow. There'll be a lunchtime show. There might be a daily. There'll certainly be a weekly show as well. I'm back on tomorrow night. Do keep watching. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't hit that like button, do all of that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your comments. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good evening.